If this is you, you find yourself staring at your phone, wondering why her silence feels louder than anything else in your life right now. Maybe this feels familiar. You check her social media, not to like or comment, but just to see if she's happy without you. Every time she posts, it's like a punch in the chest. And yet, when you think about reaching out, something in you whispers, don't. Not like this. You replay conversations in your head, searching for what went wrong. Was it something you said? Was it something you didn't say? You remember the way she used to look at you, like you were the only man in the room. And now that look is gone. That emptiness leaves you restless at night, staring at the ceiling, asking yourself, does she even think about me anymore? If this is you, you're not alone. Every man who's ever cared too much too fast knows this ache, that helplessness of wanting her to miss you while feeling like you're the only one stuck in the memory of what you had. Maybe you've tried ignoring her, maybe you've tried giving her attention, and yet nothing seems to pull her back the way you hoped. But here's the truth. There are certain things, powerful things, that can shift everything. Things that make her stop, replay your presence in her mind, and realize what she's lost. And the real question is, are you ready to find out what makes a woman miss you so badly she can't escape the thought of you? Most men get this wrong because they confuse attention with attraction. They think if they just text her more, call her more, remind her of their presence every day, she'll start missing them. But here's the harsh truth. Neediness never creates longing. It kills it. A woman can't miss what's always in her face. If you've ever noticed, the moments she seemed most drawn to you were when you were fully in your own world, living, focused, and not chasing. That's not an accident. One of the core principles of masculinity is restraint, the ability to hold back not out of fear but out of power. When you don't rush to fill every silence, when you allow her space to wonder where you are and what you're doing, you create the very tension that makes her think about you. The second principle is self-respect. Most men lose it the moment they start playing games or begging for attention. They forget that missing someone isn't about tricks. It's about the energy you give off when you don't compromise who you are. A man who knows his value doesn't chase validation. He allows others to rise to his level, or he walks away with his dignity intact. That kind of presence is unforgettable. What you'll see is that making a woman miss you isn't about manipulation, it's about alignment. It's about being the man whose absence is felt because his presence was never desperate. It was strong, steady, and rare. So the next time you feel the urge to chase, ask yourself, is what you're doing drawing her closer or silently teaching her she can live without you? She sits across the cafe table, her laughter spilling into the room, but not for you this time. You sip your coffee, pretending not to notice the way her eyes avoid yours, the way her phone lights up with messages she's quick to answer. And in that moment, a thought cuts through like glass. Does she even remember what it felt like to miss me? Later that night, you walk into your apartment. The lights are dim, the air heavy. Her sweater is still draped over the back of your chair, carrying a faint trace of her perfume. You pick it up, press it against your face, and a flood of memories rushes in. The way she leaned into your shoulder on long drives, the way she'd laugh quietly at your worst jokes. The silence in the room is deafening. Why doesn't she feel this void the way I do? You scroll through her photos, each smile cutting deeper because it looks like she's moved on. But then you remember, back when things were good, she was drawn to you not because you chased her, but because you stood grounded in your own world. Back when you didn't text her every second, she'd light up when your name appeared. Back when you lived for yourself first, she leaned in closer, afraid to lose you. The realization stings, because maybe, just maybe, what makes her miss you isn't what you're doing right now. It's what you've forgotten. The man she couldn't stop thinking about was the one who didn't need her to breathe, but still chose to let her in. And the question that lingers in your chest is this: what happens when you become that man again? Most men go into this thinking, the more effort they put in, the more she'll feel their absence later. But that's the first false belief, because constant effort doesn't build desire, it drains it. A woman can't miss you if she never has the chance to feel your absence. Sometimes the strongest move isn't giving more, it's pulling back with quiet strength. The second false belief is that distance alone will make her miss you. You think, if I just cut contact, she'll come running back. But silence without substance is just emptiness. What makes her miss you is not the gap in communication. It's the memory of the man you were when you were fully alive, fully present, and fully yourself. Distance only works when your presence had weight. The third false belief is that she left because she stopped valuing you. The truth is, most men stop valuing themselves first. They shrink, they chase, they bend. And when you lose your edge, you lose the very thing that made her crave you in the first place. She didn't ghost you. You disappeared from yourself. Distance means nothing if your presence was forgettable. She won't miss the man who begged. She'll miss the man who walked tall. These aren't harsh truths. They're reminders. You don't need to play games. You don't need to become someone else. You just need to remember the power you carried before fear made you forget it. And once you wake up to that, she won't just miss you. She'll feel the weight of what she can't replace. The 1% headman doesn't play the same game most men do. While others are busy chasing, waiting by the phone, or second-guessing themselves, he operates from a completely different mindset. This is what he understands. A woman can't truly miss you if you've lost yourself in the process of trying to keep her. He knows that presence is more powerful than pressure. Instead of forcing his way into her attention, he creates space where his absence is felt because his presence was undeniable. This is how he leads, not by trying to control her emotions, but by controlling his own. When he walks into a room, he doesn't need to demand energy. His centeredness draws it. And when he steps back, the echo of his presence lingers. Most men fear silence, but the headman embraces it. He knows that silence is where curiosity grows, where longing takes root. He doesn't fill every gap with words, texts, or calls. He allows her the gift of wondering, and in that wondering she realizes how rare his energy truly is. This is what separates him. He doesn't measure his worth by her reactions. He doesn't collapse when she pulls away. He remains steady, grounded, and self-directed. That's what makes him unforgettable. The 1% headman understands that to be missed, you must first be a man worth missing. And that doesn't come from tactics or tricks. It comes from living so deeply in your own mission, your own strength, and your own truth, that anyone who experiences you feels the weight of your absence when you're gone. You're sitting there again, staring at the empty screen, waiting for her name to light it up. Hours pass, days even, and the silence feels like a punishment you can't escape. You tell yourself maybe tomorrow, maybe she'll remember you, maybe she'll miss you, but deep down you feel it. The more you wait, the smaller you become, and then, almost like a crack of lightning in the middle of your chest, something shifts. You realize you've been handing over your power piece by piece, begging the world outside you to confirm what you should have never forgotten inside yourself. You remember who you were before her, the man with a fire in his eyes, the man who laughed without checking if someone was watching, the man who didn't need permission to feel alive. The silence suddenly feels different. It's no longer a cage, it's a mirror. And in that mirror, you don't see a man waiting to be chosen. You see a man waking up to himself. You see the truth. Her absence isn't the problem. Your absence from your own life has been. And in that moment, everything changes. You stand taller, breathe deeper. The need to be missed dissolves into something greater, the certainty that you are already worth missing. Not because she says so, but because you finally remember it for yourself. And the thought that anchors in your mind is simple, powerful, and unshakable. The man who stops waiting becomes the man she'll never forget. So here's the truth. You don't make a woman miss you by clinging tighter, by proving yourself, or by waiting endlessly for her attention. You make her miss you by becoming the man she can't forget, the man who lives fully, who carries himself with quiet strength, who doesn't need validation to know his own worth. Think back to the moments when she leaned closer, when her eyes lit up at your presence. It wasn't because you were chasing, it was because you were grounded, untouchable, alive in your own world. That's the man she remembers. That's the man whose absence stings. And now you know, It's not about her silence. It's about the energy you bring when you stop begging to be chosen and start choosing yourself. Because in the end, the man who doesn't need to be missed is always the one she can never forget.